Hey everybody, it's me Stacey here at Sizzix, and hello everybody. I am back here today excited to share with you more about my first collection from Sizzix in 2025. There's a couple overview videos that I think you're going to want to check out because it shows you everything from this collection. Today I'm going to be working with a die and a stamp set. It's called Belle of the Ball, and the die is sold all by itself. The stencil is sold all by itself, but when you pair them together, well, I'm going to show you what happens when you pair them together. Now, I got to tell you, I'm a girl from sunny California, and I don't live too far away from Disneyland. So when I was there, I was thinking, oh, I just love Belle, I do. And what's the flower for Belle? Well, it's a beautiful rose. But how would I Staceyfy that? How would I take that beautiful Disney-esque look, but change it into something that is me? And that's what we have with Belle of the Ball. The die is big and bold and slightly abstract. And the stencil with the 4 layers, the dimension that you are able to develop with color is gorgeous. So today I'm going to start with the die. We're going to cut the die, we're going to do the stencil, and then I'm going to pair them together. Because of course, you can have one, you can have the other, or if you're like me, a full set syndrome type of girl, you're going to want both. All right, so let's start with the die. And the paper I'm going to use is my Opulent paper from Sizzix. It launched in 2024. It is limited edition, so fingers crossed there's still some available. It is done in my signature teal color. That's the Stacey Park color. And anytime you see Sizzix product that has that teal color to it, that's me. Hey, I'm Stacey. But the Opulent paper follows in the tradition of Opulent for Sizzix. There are 5 different specialty papers. There's a glitter, and there's a matte, and there is a metal, kind of a metal looking. There is a shimmer, a mirror. There's a little bit of everything. You get 10 of each of these specialty finished papers for a total of 50 in the pack. And once the teal is gone, well, the teal is gone. So today I'm going to play with this and I'm going to cut my die from it. Now I've put my die on my gotcha tool. Hello, gotcha. If you haven't seen this, this came out in 2024 and was a for people. They love the gotcha tool. And why? Because it holds all your dies right there on your making space. And it will hold an entire set of fanciful framelits. Not any problem at all. If you're like me and I get a little messy, that's okay. The gotcha tool will find dies underneath paper. If you drop one in the trash can, it'll let you pick it up there. It is an amazing tool that you will only find at Sizzix. It is small and sleek and chic. It has a built-in stand that then can lay down or pop right on out. It is super easy to use. And if you do more than die cutting, well, it will hold pins for sewing. People in the jewelry making hobby are using it. And quite honestly, my husband took mine straight to the garage. I had to get another one because he took it to the garage and has used it for him. Now I'm going to grab my die and I'm going to grab my Opulent paper. And I think that's good. I can trim it down just a little bit if I want. I'm going to bring over the limited edition Stacey Park Big Shot machine. Again, I'm hoping that some of these are still available, but when they're gone, they're gone. And it is so pretty. It has this beautiful pad printing. They call it pad printing. It's a metallic printing of gemstones on both sides, and it's so lovely in the signature teal color. So let's see, we're gonna die cut. And to do that, I need to use the base platform. the base platform that comes with your machine. I need to use the A shim or the solo shim that comes with your machine. I need to use a cut plate that comes with your machine. And know that when you get your machine, your cut plates are going to look a little bit more like this, a little bit more clear and see-through. But as you are die cutting your way through your creativity, well, they're going to turn into something a little bit more like that. And that is A-okay, because once you can't use them anymore, and it will take quite some time, you just buy yourself a new set, and it will take quite some time. Now the sandwich, again, I've got my base platform, I've got my solo shim or my A shim, I've got my bottom cut plate, I've got my beautiful Opulent, I've got my die. Now, my die it's built into a rectangle. And because this is a straight line, and because my roller is in a straight line, if I don't want that little ka-thump when the die hits the roller, because it's a parallel, they're parallel to each other. If I don't want that little ka-thump, it won't hurt the die and it won't hurt the machine. But the first time it happens, you might go, oh, it's okay. But to avoid it, all I have to do is move my die and put it on a slight angle. That way when it feeds through the machine, it starts here and it feeds down, and it's never at a parallel line to the roller. The roller is what's going to add that pressure to the die to cut the paper. Let me show you. So I've got it at just a little bit of an angle, and square up my plates, and let's send it on through. Little bit of creak is okay. Bring it back, and let's see what we've got. Oh, so pretty. I'm going to take my cut plate off, and oh, look at that. Okay, yay, oh my gosh, that's a little bit of happiness. I can put my die right back on my gotcha tool. Put my die right back on my gotcha tool, and this is what we want to see. This is crafty happiness, when all the bits and pieces just fall right out. Look at that. Ah, that's a die cutter's heart being made happy. And I didn't use a precision base plate. I didn't have to go back and forth. Just putting it on that slight angle changes the pressure and how well it cuts. Now I'm here at Sizzix HQ in Wrexham, and well, typically back at my place I have a lovely little trash can underneath, but okay, done. Look at the magic of TV, right? Usually I'm 50% in the trash can, 50% not in the trash can. Here is the cut. Isn't it beautiful? It's just so pretty, so elegant, perfect for Mother's Day and wedding invitations and bridal showers and thank yous and thinking of yous and with sympathies. It's just perfect. If you're making a mini album for somebody, what a beautiful piece to put on the front cover. But we're not done. Oh no. We have the stencil. There we go. We have the stencil to go with. Now this is beautiful all by itself, and I could absolutely come in if I wanted to, and I could do some watercoloring with it. Sure, absolutely. Let's take it and let's use the stencil and see what we can do with the stencil. Now to do that, I need to bring over my Sizzix stencil and stamp tool. This is a tool that is as equally as important as your Sizzix Big Shot machine, because while the Big Shot machine die cuts beautifully every time, it is the workhorse of the industry. It is time tested and trusted and loved by, I think, over 1.5 million machines out there. Whoo, that's a lot of die cutting going on. That makes this girl's heart happy. this tool is equally as important because it does exactly what it says and it does it well every single time. It is the stencil and stamp tool. So today I'm going to be using it as a stenciling tool. So I can take my lid and it pops right off. I can put it off to the side. When I use it with my lid, it becomes a stamp positioner. Now the tool works in a way that you have this alignment tool and the holes here correlate to the holes that hold the lid in place, and it allows you to align a stencil perfectly every time. So let's bring over my Belle of the Ball stencils, and it is a 4-layer stencil. So to get that beautiful effect, to get that amazing dimension, it takes all 4 of them. And with Sizzix, they always put the name at the top, their name, Sizzix, and then the item number, and then the position of the stencil. So I can see that it says Sizzix. I can see that what the item number is, and that this is stencil number 1, stencil number 2, stencil number 3, stencil number 4. So you know the order that you're going to be stenciling in. And for those of you who love the look of stenciling, but are not fond of having to tape the stencil down, especially layering stencils, or use magnets, because it's really hard to get them exactly lined up. That's where this tool comes in and it makes your heart happy. It takes care of that for you. It allows you to do the fun stuff. It's doing the heavy lifting and you're doing the creating. So I'm going to take my piece of paper and I'm going to butt it right up to the alignment tool. Now, if I wanted, I could use my alignment tool and I could move it down, and I could take my paper and put it this way and have my stencil go here. I could use 12 by 12 paper if I wanted to do an entire stencil across 12 by 12. There's no lip on any of the sides of your stencil and stamp tool. That means you're not limited to the size of paper you can use. And that's key. That's really important to this tool. Also, the sticky grid that it comes with, that's this piece of amazing, the most amazing Post-it note ever. It's tacky. You put it down on your stencil and stamp tool and it holds your paper perfectly. Holds it right where it is. Doesn't move. And then when you need to pull it up, it doesn't cause any harm to your paper. It has a low tack to it that does what you need when you need it to do it. And when you're stenciling, you don't want your paper slipping and sliding around. And once it becomes unusable. Now I get ink all over mine, and you can get ink all over your sticky grid too. It will still work. But what will not make it tacky anymore? Well, if you keep doing this, the oils from your hands will take away some of the tack, or if you're using embossing powder or glitters, anything that would take away some sticky, that's going to happen. But have no fear, Sizzix is here and they have replacements that you can buy. So I've got my alignment tool. I usually like to start center at the top. I take my paper, I usually butt it right up to the alignment tool, and then I grab my stencils. And my stencils have holes at the top. Those holes are going to correlate with the nibs right here. And you pop it, I want to make sure I've got number 1. You pop it right in. Did you hear that little click? I hope you did, because it pops right in, and just give a press across. Now, if you have stencils that are not Sizzix, they might not have holes in them. Don't go get a hole puncher and put holes in your stencils. No, again, have no fear, Sizzix is here. They sell converters. So if this was somebody else's stencils and there's no holes at the top, Sizzix has a pack of 10 converters that will attach 1 converter per stencil. You pop it in, it puts the holes in it, you pop it in, you use it, and then you can take it off and use it on another stencil, and then take it off and use it on another stencil, so that no matter whose stencils you have in your crafty stash, come play in the sandbox with our stencil and stamp tool. So let's flip it back around. I always want to make sure that I can see the Sizzix and the skew and the position. That way I know that's facing front. I pop it in, give it a push, and I can start stenciling. Keep in mind that this is an alignment tool, which means I can pick it up, look at what I've done, and put it back down anytime I want. What I can't do is say, hey, you're going to keep it in place for me and you're not going to buckle. No, that's not what this tool does. This tool aligns your stencils and you will see that. But I still need to keep my hand on the stencil as I'm working with it so it doesn't pull as I am doing my inking. So I'm using my premium dye-based inks from Jacquard. They are a water reactive, beautiful, highly saturated ink that you can desaturate into the perfect shade of whatever color you want to use. I don't have, this happens to be Pineapple Crush, I don't have a dark Pineapple Crush and a light Pineapple Crush, and then this is my middle color. One ink pad is going to give you the whole spectrum of what this color has to offer. So let's go in here, and you see me holding it down. See, needs to hold. And I'm just going to lend some color. I'm just going to lend some color. I'm not going to do the whole thing because I want to blend color. Oh, see, got to hold down. Now I can pick it up and I can look and say, oh, do I want to add more color somewhere? Am I happy with it? What do I think? And if I'm happy with it, I'm going to leave it. And because I'm blending color, I want to leave a little negative space or a little white space to add in. So I think I'm going to go with my Dragon Fruit Delight. Now this is really, really saturated. So if I want to desaturate, I just take a little piece of paper or a blending mat and see how I pop it. Look at that. I'm just taking the color off a little bit. And then I come in and I add. Keeping my hands on my stencil, and I'm just trying to blend my color. My inks are beautiful for blending. I went a little heavy there. For a little definition, I can go a little bit heavier here. Come up to my corner. Now, I can pick this up and look and see. Do I like what I'm doing? Look at the different colors. You didn't see kind of a peachy orange. I haven't used that at all, but my colors make new colors. And that is the beautiful thing about the blending, is that it just creates this fabulous, soft, amazing coverage without having to use multiple different colors. So I think I'm going to be done with this one. I may come back and add, we'll see, because as long as I don't move my paper, I'm able to come back to stencil number 1 and add more. Now let's go into stencil number 2. Down, make sure my Sizzix is at the top, place it down, and what you're going to notice is that it masks off. It masks off everything I've just done. So it covers all of that up. And that means I'm not going to be blending into those colors. The blends that I've done there are going to stay true. And this is where having this tool makes all the difference. Because if you were using tape or magnets to line up stencil number 2, well, I'll be done with it before you probably have it exactly where it needs to be. Because once you're off a little bit on your stencil, well, you're off a little bit, and there's nothing worse than doing a beautiful stencil and the very last layer, you're off just a little bit and there's a fine white line around everything. So let's come in and I'm gonna do maybe a little bit heavier in my yellow. Keeping my fingers on. And anywhere there's white, I'm going to stencil in. Maybe go a little bit darker in some areas. And I'm able to pick it up and look and see. Oh yeah, I've got this whole area down here still to do. Look at that, bam. Just keep going. If I wanted to have that view with tape or magnets, well, you almost don't want to have to look at it and pick it up because that's just making more work for yourself. The tool does the heavy lifting for you. It really does. And it makes you feel accomplished and successful. Okay, now let's go in and we'll add some of my pink. And I'm just going to blend some in. Just blend some in. And I'm not giving too much thought. There's no rhyme, there's no reason. I want it to be a little abstract. I'm just going to blend some in. And then I can lift up. And I can see, oh, do you see how it's coming along? Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. Stencil number 2, done. Let's call that done and let's move on. Stencil number 3. Come back with my yellow. And again, maybe a little darker. Look at the intensity. Keeping my hands on my stencil. Using my blending tool from Sizzix. And really, you just need one. This can do all of my yellows. You don't have to have a different blending head for every single color that you have. Now, you may want that, but is it necessary? No, absolutely not. Maybe you start with one per color family, and then you see the colors of your inks that you're using all the time. And maybe you have a blending head just for that. All right, so I think I've got it about done. Pretty easy to do. Let's lift up. Oh, I really think they're beautiful. I love the abstract look of it. I love that it is a flower, but is it? It can be. I mean, it's just a little bit of pretty without being too, I don't know, cartoony, or it's got a little edge of sophistication to it. And I'd like to think that that's how a lot of my product is, a little edge of sophistication. Because while we absolutely craft for the young ones in our life, we also craft for the older, my mom, my grandma, your grandma, your family. And well, cutesy's cute. And I'm happy I love doing cutesy sometimes, but sometimes I want a little bit more. Little edge of sophistication. And again, no rhyme, no reason. I'm just letting it be. How are we doing? We've got one stencil left. All right, the last stencil, stencil number 4, the finishing touch. I put it right on my tool, give a little press down, give a little press down. And I think this time I'm gonna start with my Dragon Fruit Delight as opposed to the yellow. I'm gonna pick up some color and I'm gonna go in and add it first. Keeping my hands right there. Oh, it's so beautiful, it's so bright, it's so happy. Can you use any kind of ink to do this? Yes, yes you can, absolutely. If you've got a dye-based ink, go for it. If you have a pigment-based ink, something that stays wet a little bit longer, it might take a little time to dry. But if you're using a pigment-based ink, maybe you're using a metallic, because all metallics are pretty much pigment-based inks. So use what you have, experiment, try, and then go from there. What I do love about my inks is they don't make mud. You can layer and blend, and they really just don't make mud. See, do you see the color change as I'm adding the yellow? And this time I laid the pink down first, so the pink was the base, to give it a little more oomph on my last. And we can pull up and see what we have. Really pretty. Now I might want to go back. I might want to go back to layer number 1. Let me look, layer number 1. Yep, it sure is. As long as my alignment tool goes back to the place I started from, as long as I align it right back up. Now, if I accidentally, let's put this right back in. This is layer number 1. If I move this way, well, clearly it doesn't line up. I know I'm wrong. And if I do it this way, again, it doesn't line up. I know something's wrong. All I have to do is go back and figure out, well, where does it line up? Right there. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to add in a little bit more color. I'm going to come in and make this a little darker on the edges. And the idea of making it maybe just a little darker on the edges is to really draw your eye in. But I always start a little bit light because I can easily, oh, that looks so good. I hope the camera picks it up because it really is so pretty. So I always start a little bit light because of the ease of being able to realign the stencil up. And then I can come back and redo or add to the layers that I want to add to. Yeah, do I want to do a little bit of yellow, just a little bit of yellow, just to kind of cement the color in, just to kind of blend them together. Oh, see, I like the bold, I like the vibrant. Well, hello, I'm in yellow. And I think that when you do this, and then you take all the noise away, all the noise. See here, I've inked right on it. And I just pull this off. Oh, I think I missed an area right there, but that's okay. I'm going to go for it. Trim it right on out. And you can put on a happy birthday. You can put on a thinking of you. You can put on a thank you or a just because, or I don't know, maybe not put anything on it at all and put the sentiment on the inside. But then you can take and layer your die right on top if that's what you want to do to finish it out. And now you've built that, you've built the lines around it. It takes it from being a little abstract to a little more focused in. And it's all about the belle of the ball and her rose. And well, whether the last petal falls or not, I guess that's up to you on how you finish it. But I sure do love this. It's elegant and fun, and it has pizzazz to it and abstractness to it, and it makes whomever you're giving this to, it makes them look at it and go, how did you do this? Don't tell them. Shh, I won't tell them either. They will be amazed. And most importantly, if you're using this for the front cover of your mini album, or you're making a card, or you're using it as an embellishment on a layout for somebody, what they see is the love and the time you put behind that make. And that is why making a make is so much more than just being crafty. It's putting your heart into something that most often you're going to pass along to somebody else. I think that they are just gorgeous, and the opportunity with them is a lot. Let me show you some finished samples where we have used. Here, we took the pieces that I threw away and we paper pieced them right on. This is a solid piece of cardstock in the back, and we just put these right back where they belong and left the solid piece of cardstock be the lining of the rose. And look at, wow, this is a with sympathy. This is a wonderful friend. This is an anything card. This is the beautiful cover to your mini album. This is a fabulous addition to a layout. The coloring, so soft, so serene, pretty. And here, we've cut it down. Now this is full size, but do you have to have full size? Nope, no you don't. We've cut it right down so that we focused in even more on the rose. Sure, take it down to the size you need. And we've used a fanciful framelit, the new 2025 Renee's Fanciful Framelits in reverse for the border on that. And such loveliness. I don't know when this couldn't be something just spectacular for anybody. And last but not least, we've cut it down even further. So, full-size rose, cut down a little bit more, cut down a little bit more, all elegant. So wasn't that a fun make? I mean, the colors, so bold, so vibrant, and being able to use the die and the stencil together, but use them separately? Yes, please. So I am Stacey, and this is my first collection with Sizzix for 2025. I sure hope you enjoyed making the make with me, because I enjoyed spending my time with you. Until next time, everybody. Bye.